All right, welcome back, everybody, to our continuation of the conversation about financial reporting basics. So we're going to pick up where we left last time and dive right in.
So, how does financial reporting play into how you manage your business?
So it really boils down to you've got to have good information in order to be able to have financial reporting that is useful and actionable, right? If you don't have good records in place, then the financial reports that you're producing and looking at don't mean anything.
Okay, so there are some core things that we should probably touch on for a business owner to be mindful of, right? So we're talking about making sure that they have regular financial reviews, right? That they keep good detailed financial records. What are some of the other things that they have to be doing, in your opinion, or that's required to be doing?
Those are the big things that you need to be doing. If you are using banks or investors, then there are certain standards that you have to keep your financial records with. But that honestly is not something that's going to apply to most of the people that are watching this. It really is a matter.
There's no quarterly. There's no necessity to file quarterly statements or anything like that with the SEC, right? But
correct. If you're a private business, you don't really have to report anything to anybody. If you have bank debt, then your banks will typically require you to send them financial statements, and they're going to want them to be, compiled in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles.
Yeah.
But that's generally going to be for a larger business. And if you're in that situation, you're probably going to want to have some people doing that work for you. That is not something that you're going to want to do yourself. But the regular financial reviews and the detailed financial records are things that every single business owner is going to need. So detailed financial records is simply, it's making sure you got everything. You've captured all of your income and you've captured all of your expenses and you've put it in the right category, right? So QuickBooks is probably the most common tool that people are going to use to do this.
Yep.
QuickBooks is super simple. They've made it extremely user-friendly. It's something that, every small business owner, I would suggest use that, or, there are other there are other accounting softwares out there. And I've seen people use them, but QuickBooks is the best one that I've used. You can link it up with the bank accounts. So it brings up all your expenses that have hit your bank. It brings up all the money that's been deposited in your bank, and you can just really easily put it in the categories that you want to. And it even will remember things. So it'll know that, if I book Delta Airlines a lot, that it's going to just know that you have to tell it, but it's going to know that, every charge like that in the future is going to be airfare, right? It'll remember if you've got Jon Jones pays me $10,000 every month. It's going to remember what that revenue is for once I put it into the category the first time.
Okay, so it learns.
It learns, it does, and it makes it really simple. And so if you're diligent about categorizing these things in the right way, and the interesting thing about this is that some people think you need to keep track of an account that shows what your stamps are and what your pencils are and what your paper is. Yeah. And there's very, very rarely any need to get that detailed. What you need to do when you're deciding what accounts you want to track is what are the things that are important to me for the business, right? So office supplies, if that's something that's a cost that you're interested in keeping track of, and it's big enough for it to matter to the business, then you want to have a category for that. If travel is a category that's big enough for you, then you want to have that separate too. So it's really, as you think about the business that you're running and the business that you're managing, what you want to do is think, what are the things that are important? And then as you review this, you should review this every month, right? So you'll see a category. If you frequently see that, my travel expenses are, $10,000 a month, and you frequently find yourself going back into that account saying, well, what did I spend all that money for? Then it might make sense for you to break it out and say, I'm spending $5,000 a month on airlines, and I'm spending, $800 a month on hotel rooms. So it's really a tool. You'll see people say, well, what account should I put this in? And the answer is well, what matters to you, right?
Okay.
What is important for you to be able to know that you're managing the business properly. So you really have to create your own accounts that show where your money is going. And you can work with an accountant or a bookkeeper to help you figure out the structure and all that. But it should be personalized to your business. And every company's, chart of accounts and their profit and loss statement should look different, because every business owner is going to have different things that are important to them.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a really, really interesting point. So there's no sort of hard and fast way to do this. It's what is necessary or important to you or your business. So every situation is going to look different. Okay. So, we've covered some of the most important core elements of financial information for a small business. Let's just kind of conclude the talk by just touching on the importance of all of this financial reporting. Can you tell us the key points? Why does this matter? What makes it important?
So there's really, I would say, 4 critical things that make this important. One is so that you can make business decisions. The second is if you've got investors or other stakeholders in the business, they're going to want to be able to know what's going on with the business.
Okay.
You've got some regulatory compliance issues depending on what your business is. I mean, certainly there's the IRS, tax, sales tax, income tax, all those things. And then the final is just what I would call an overall, how healthy is the business from a financial standpoint?
Yeah.
So I mean, we've covered all of those, I think, pretty well in depth. But I feel like the decision-making aspect of this is just worth mentioning again. If you've got good financial information and you're regularly reviewing it, you're going to see what are the things that I'm doing in the business that is good and that I need to do more of, and what are the things in the businesses that are not going as well as I would like. And then you can dive in and you can fix those sorts of things.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So, I think that the conclusion with today's discussion really is that financial literacy empowers you to control your business future. It's going to help you ensure that you're both stable and growing. So, for a new business person, taking the time to learn and apply these principles, I think is probably one of the most important things that they can do. What do you have any final sort of points or advice you'd like to add, Mark?
Just to kind of recap what I started with, I know that this is a pain in the ass and nobody likes doing it, but if you get good at it, it's really something that's going to help you to be able to make your business better.
Yeah, I suppose.
And if you look at it as rather than a task and a chore that I have to do, you should be excited at the end of every month to pull up your P&L and say, "Hey, I made $10,000 this month."
Or even if you've just started, you made $1, you made $100, or you lost less than you thought. Those are also potential wins, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whatever the answer is, I mean, I guess my point is it seems kind of, it seems kind of silly to say this, but you really should be excited at the end of the month to say, this is what the results were, because it's a gauge of how well you're doing in your business, right?
Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah. So I think this is actually a big takeaway from all the talks that we've had this thus far, and that is that this is not a trivial matter. This is core to your ultimate success, and be active, be proactive about understanding it and weaving it into your activities and your schedule as an entrepreneur. I think that's going to be really helpful for you long term. So thanks for listening to the Smart Biz Advisors podcast, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow business owners. Make sure to follow us on social media for more tips and updates. I'm Jon Jones, and we will see you next time, guys. Take care, Mark. Thanks.
Thanks, John. Thanks, everyone.